Hey everybody, welcome back to The Last of Ass. How you doing, Max?
I'm ready for some ass. How about you?
I'm ready for ass.
That comic I've been reading?
Every time I
Uh,
hear something like that, though, I think of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer was the ass man.
wait. Remind me, what was that?
He had the vanity license plate that said
Oh.
ass man, but then he got in
That's
trouble with a
it was the
proctologist.
yeah. Oh my god, that's awesome.
All right, so apparently it didn't save any of the stuff that I did after we concluded this episode, so I've got to do a quick run around
fuck?
for some items.
Okay. That wasn't the same episode that no, that was a different one where Kramer got that coat from the thrift store.
Oh, yeah, the pimp
and
coat.
and then all of a sudden, like, these things are happening to him, and he's just
Right.
like, "Cool, people
Yeah.
are giving me respect."
That's right. God, I love that show.
That is such a good show. It's just like there were so many things that happened that a lot of like bits just come back to you. That's like,
Oh, yeah.
that's
And
very,
you know, like, it's not like a ton of 90s shows where you look back on it and it's like, oh, that's just transparently racist or homophobic.
Kinda like
yeah.
Like,
I get you.
occasionally there's like an off-color joke there, but
bakers trade bread
But
recipes.
it
on
was,
a need to know basis.
Oh my god, Ellie.
Nude.
eh,
What was I gonna say? Just the kind of humor in that show wasn't like punched down. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It was it's very weird. I mean, it's like you can tell Jerry Seinfeld, you know, that's his humor is just finding the humor in just everyday things and then
Right.
punching it up a lot and making it exaggerated.
well,
Like,
and it was such a good compliment to Larry David's writing style too, because like Jerry played himself, and then Larry David was played by Jason Alexander as George. Like so like
okay.
they were constantly bouncing off each other.
Gotcha. I never knew that. That kind of so that was like their dynamic, but he got Jason Alexander in there
Exactly.
to like
Yeah,
play him.
He wasn't yet comfortable like appearing on screen, like until the Larry David show.
Okay, so wait a second. So the Larry David show, is that basically George Costanza?
It's basically the George Costanza show. Only like imagine
that's
like
awesome.
imagine like R-rated Seinfeld. That's pretty much
great.
what it is. And
Okay,
it's
now
really
I need to
funny.
fucking watch that show. I've never seen a single episode.
I believe it's on HBO Max.
It is. And I
Yeah.
have HBO Max. So
Yeah,
there's
give it a watch.
definitely some shows I gotta watch.
I will say it's one of those shows where like maybe like second, third season is where it really gets into its groove, but like the first season's still funny.
Okay. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that's how Seinfeld was too. Like,
Yeah,
that's how a lot of
actually,
show like Parks and Rec is like the ultimate.
Oh my
in
God,
that, where
yeah.
the first
Seasons
season
1
is
and
like
2,
kind
like-
of bad.
Yeah,
almost.
like actually sort of sucked. And then season
Yeah.
2, like the characters started to become more defined. And then once they brought, what's his name? Adam Scott and Rob
geez.
Lowe.
Rob Lowe,
on.
yeah.
That's
it was
when it
basically
really took off.
when Who's It's Jackass left. I don't even know his name, Matt or something.
Oh
when he
yeah, like
left-
basically Jim from The Office.
Yes.
But like completely
They
out
didn't
of his
need
element.
Jim.
Right.
They didn't need a straight man in Parks and Rec. And what they did really well is they punched everyone up, like made them kind of not caricatures of themselves, because that's really bad when that happened. Like Friends
Yeah.
did that
Oh
in
yeah.
the very late seasons.
Totally.
But they kind of did it starting from season 2, where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're gonna make Tom more ridiculous. We're gonna
Right.
make what's his name? Ron, like in the first one, he's like kind of serious business and keeps to himself.
Yeah,
but,
right. He's
but
like
then
almost
he's
a
like-
totally different character.
Yeah, and then he totally became like
He's like goofing
libertarian.
Off. Yeah, right.
Wilder, but also hates work and so.
Right. There's like a straight up scene in like one of the first episodes where he's just like bored in a meeting and he's like on his cell phone, and it's like the weirdest thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you go back to that, it's like,
And he's like
Wow,
wearing
Ron?
a suit, and
yeah, he
it's
wears a
just
suit in the
strange.
first season.
Yep.
That show really had to find its stride for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Like that was almost catastrophic. Like, well, especially considering like how really good like the third season on of that show is.
Yeah, it ended up being
Right.
fantastic.
It basically didn't have a weak moment after that initial like really rough patch.
Yeah. And they ended it at a good spot too before it
Right.
got
Yeah.
like
It had the good graces to end. You know, like
before anyone was like, okay, we got to leave now. Like
right.
leave
Well,
the
like
show.
Anne and
Sort
Anne
of.
and
Anne and Rob Lowe.
yeah, Chris Traeger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left, but even then they weren't like, well, that's the other nice thing is, you know, sometimes there's like a single character that like really catches on. It's like Fonzie syndrome where the show just becomes
For
all
sure.
about them. And definitely Ron caught on more than anybody else in like the popular conscience, but it never became
For
the
sure.
Ron show.
Yeah.
Like it was
that's
always
true.
firmly like Leslie Knope was the main character.
And everyone had their moments enough
Mhm.
where it was like, even
Right.
if Ron didn't feature as much in an episode, it was like,
Mhm.
okay, so we got Tom and we got this dynamic.
Yes. Well, and you brought up a really good point too. Like they avoided largely like the temptation to just like completely make the characters like parodies of themselves until the point where it was just like they're a single trope. Like they kept them
Yeah.
they kept them human throughout. Like they all
They
had
kept
like
them
their
multi-dimensional.
yeah, right. They all had their like, you know, not so great qualities and then redeeming qualities. So
Yeah.
it was a great show.
was-
I love Parks
that's a-
and Rec.
Yeah, me too.
But
That was
you'll
something like,
well
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You first.
I was going to say, like, that's something that, you know, Friends did do. And it's like, I look back at that show and it's like, okay, the first seasons are funny where,
Yeah.
you know, Joey's the guy that's like, what am I supposed to choose between sex and food?
Yeah.
You know,
I can't hit
And
on a
that would happen
bridesmaid at a
sometimes.
wedding. Or, yeah.
but then like in the later seasons, it got like to the extreme where it's like, he's not even acting like a person anymore.
Right, he's just a man
doing
child.
the bit.
Yeah, right. Yep. Well, that's again Fonzie syndrome, where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
get into a room and say, hey. that's it.
Man,
I'm thinking of this
what a crazy
this,
string of soldiers.
this line from Community
Uh-huh.
where Abed's talking about like jumping the shark.
Yeah, right.
And Troy totally missing what that reference is. He was just like, and I don't know what you like there was an episode of Happy Days where Fonzie literally jumped over a shark,
Yep.
and it was the best episode ever.
It's the
Just
best
like-
episode ever. Oh god,
It's
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah, dude, that's true. And then it's all downhill from there.
Oh man, have you ever actually seen that episode? Like, not just the clip, but like the episode.
A long time ago, and I remember
Yeah,
it being kind of
same.
weird.
Oh, it was bizarre. Like
It was-
the whole premise was just like, you know, like why is he even fucking doing this? And then when it
Yeah,
came
and
time for him
wasn't
to
he
jump the
scared
shark,
to do it. Like,
yeah, a little, and like that was the whole thing. He had to prove he wasn't scared. And
okay, yeah,
so it was a flimsy premise to begin with. But then when they finally got to it, it's the, you know, I understand that TV budgets weren't what they are now, like back in the 80s. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like that was one of the most successful shows on television. You would think they could have got like a stunt man to like actually do a really impressive jet ski stunt or anything. But no,
Oh, yeah, it was off screen.
It's literally Henry Winkler like rocking back and forth in front of a green screen, smiling and waving to the camera.
that's
was-
right.
It was so like there's a reason it became a trope.
Just keep at it. Come on.
Like
Yeah,
some
that
things
was-
some things are exaggerated, you know, or like people just get tired of something and make fun of a bit. But this was truly like a bizarre moment in television history.
Yeah, and then it wasn't the same after that. I
No.
don't think the show lasted very long after that.
Well,
And then
like,
they tried
Collectively, Americans
Joni
like
and Chachi.
right, yep. Collectively, America just turned off Happy Days and never came back. It's like, well,
they were like, huh.
that's it. I guess I guess that's the show now. Well, and so, you know, so my experience with Happy Days was kind of in the late 90s. It was on Nick at Night. And you know, I would stay up
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night for like
That's right.
Snick and all that good stuff. And then I would, you know, because it was Saturday and I was 12, I would just stay up into the wee hours of the morning and like watch whatever came next and play video games. And so
Yeah.
it was Happy Days. And every once in a while, like some old episodes of Taxi, which by the way was the far superior show. But yeah, so like I would watch that, and I watched like basically the entire run of Happy Days over the course of like my middle school years, which tells you about as cool as I was in middle school. but anyways, so like I saw the jumping the shark thing, and like before I was even aware that was like a cultural thing, I'm like, wow, that was really fucking stupid. but I kept watching, and like in the later episodes, they kind of aim for like almost like not even a comedy anymore. It's almost like a melodrama. Like there's an episode where, what's his name? The non-Fonzie main character.
I was gonna say Ron.
Well, yeah, Ron.
That's the actor.
Right. Oh my gosh, Ron Hubbard.
Richie Cunningham.
Yeah, Richie Cunningham. Yeah, there we go. But the actor, you're right, is Ron
Howard. There we
Ron
go.
Howard. There we go.
Took me a while.
Not Hubbard. Ron Howard. Yeah. And Ron Howard's a phenomenal actor and a great director. I mean, like I've got nothing bad to say about him. But so like, there was one episode that I remember where he became a Republican, and like that caused some real tension between him and his dad, and who was like firmly Democrat. But you know, like those two things also meant different things in the 50s. So that was kind of interesting. But then he was off the show for a while, and when he came back, he was like a dick, and like he straight up like punched Fonzie in the face, and it was weird. Like it was very.
That is weird. Yeah.
Well, basically, the jumping the shark thing kind of. They knew it was bad, and they knew that people weren't watching as much anymore, so they kind of had license to get creative with, or try to swing it in a different direction,
quote unquote creative, yeah.
Right, in order to bring people back. But a lot of it was just like really not good. But again, like every once in a while, it would be like almost something that like wasn't even in the same genre. You know, it was like straight up soap opera shit.
There were a few years where MASH and Happy Days were on TV at the same time, right? Like I know MASH started in the 70s, I think, but it went into the 80s, didn't it? Or am I completely off base there?
I'm not remembering which one MASH was.
Yeah, it's the Korean War.
Okay, okay, yep.
Had the I mean, it followed like there were some soldiers, but it was like the main character was a paramedic, I think, like a field medic.
Okay,
and it was on TV for like.
Oh yeah,
years.
It was a while.
Like,
wasn't that the one that Family?
I have to look up.
Wasn't that the one that Family Guy made the joke about, like, where like the show was just them talking to old people in like a nursing home? It's like, hi, do you remember the 50s? Was that the same one, or is that a different show?
I don't know, but it was like, oh yeah, it was on TV. Yeah, for a few years in the 80s. It was 72 to 83.
Okay. I'm thinking that's the one that I am thinking of from Family Guy.
Yeah.
How you doing there, Dolores? Remember the 50s?
And okay, so maybe Happy Days I think started in the early 80s. As far as it was on TV for like a good 6-7 years or something like that. And I'm going to see Happy Days run.
I'm thinking it was like...
Oh, it was in the
81?
70s as well.
Oh, really? Okay, so it started in the 70s, but it went to the 80s,
I thought it was an
right?
80s show.
So did
Let's
I.
see.
Huh. So basically, it was that
shit.
It was basically that 70s show before that 70s show.
Yeah, right? It'll just do in the 50s.
Right, yeah.
But
20 years later.
wait a second. Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. It was like a difference of 20 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think about that, and it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine how fucking off-putting it would be? And I'm sure someone will. But like, if someone made a show right now that was all about like nostalgia for the early 2000s.
That's literally what that 70s show would be.
Yep.
Like to do the same thing, it would be starting in 2002.
Yep, that would literally be like how our parents must have felt like in the 90s seeing
Christ.
that 70s show. Like, where the fuck did 20 years go? Like, how is this possible?
And the 70s when it was the 90s, and I was a kid, obviously, but being 10 years old or so, seeing that 70s show, I was like, oh yeah, that was so
right, yeah,
different world.
But that had to like freak our parents right out.
And then, like what you're saying, it's like, oh, that aughts show or whatever the fuck.
Oh, the aughts, yeah, or something like that.
And it's like starting in 2002. I'd be like, how is this going to be a show? It's barely any different.
We could write it,
They're
Max.
Going to talk about like, I got a cell phone. It's like, oh fuck, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, like have some like bored high school student working at a grocery store playing Snake on his like Motorola.
Jesus Christ. No.
that was me, man. I
It
remember
was a
it.
time. That was me too. Yeah.
Yep. God, that would be so strange. Like, I don't know how I would handle that. But the funniest thing I remember about that 70s show is my dad and I would watch it, and he liked the show just fine. Like, he thought the actors were funny and everything like that. But he was
Yeah.
like, I don't know why people are like looking back on the 70s with nostalgia now. The 70s sucked.
That's funny. I mean, there's some things like, because growing up, all I did see was the good stuff, because that's what
Oh,
we
yeah,
do
totally.
as a society, you know. And when I learned of things about, like, you know, how seedy a lot of New York City was,
Oh, yeah.
and
Like,
you know, the internationally, like all the shit that was going on, it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, okay,
coming like fresh
and
off Vietnam and everything. Holy shit.
yeah, and just like how we were as a people, like very you know, I'm sure like how it is these days. Oh, I'm sure it's worse these days, but that very disillusioned with your government,
Mhm.
and you know,
Yeah, we're not the first generation to deal with that.
yeah.
I hope we don't go the same
So
direction
that's-
with it the boomers did, but you know.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, for a while there, you know, as far the hippie movement, and as far as like being anti-establishment, like there was some fire there that was good.
Oh,
for
yeah,
a while.
totally.
And then what the fuck happened? Like,
Kanye West happened.
oh god,
Dude, fuck that
Jesus
guy.
Christ,
Fuck
seriously,
that guy.
he's. I mean, yes, he's profoundly unwell, but that
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
change like the shit that he's doing.
Well,
like,
and
it's still
the fact
what he
is,
believes.
yeah, he is aware, at least of part of what he's doing, because a couple of years ago, like when he first started hanging out with Trump in the White House, like he was pretty transparent. He basically said, I'm just gonna fucking run as a Republican and try to see where it takes me. 22, 10, 56. Remember those numbers.
Okay.
And now he's straight up doing that. Like, you know, like all this dog whistle shit he's doing is meant to appeal to the far right nationalist movement. Like, that's what he's doing.
Nah.
And I guarantee you, like, the more like sponsors pull out and the more he loses, the more he wins with them, because he becomes like an alt-right martyr. And
Yep.
oh,
That's a tale as old as time at this
Yep.
point, you know.
all of a sudden you've got
It's-
like these MAGA Christians, and they're like, oh yeah, why can't we say the truth about the Jews, you know?
Oh my god.
What was it? 22, 10, 50...
6.
22, 10, 56. Thank you. Holy shit! It just started raining buckets.
Oh,
if
really?
I
Okay.
lose power and the stream suddenly ends, that's why. There's no
Yeah,
like
it was,
thunder or lightning, but heavy rain.
It was not heavy, but just for most of the day, like up until a few hours ago, it was just constantly raining. It's
Wow.
a very ugly day.
Yeah. Oh man, all like the
Ooh.
beautiful leaves we've got right now, they're gonna be down tomorrow morning. That's a bummer.
That does suck.
See, I'm like such a
Mm.
basic bitch. I love just like fall weather, fall aesthetic, and then once it's, but it only lasts for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, seriously.
And then it's just gray, bland, depressing.
And then it's just like
for
wet
6 fucking months plus.
And before the snow, even, you just got the mush of death
Oh yeah,
clogging up the sewers, and
yeah.
you know, they're not crunchy anymore. It's
Yep.
just like turning into
basically from now till May, it's just fucking hot garbage out.
yeah, right.
And don't get me wrong, I still
Uh.
prefer the cold to the hot, but
Tried
yeah.
to catch some fog
Me
earlier.
too. I mean, I
Missed.
I mean, we both grew up in the north, so what do you expect?
Yeah, and now we don't have like 3 months off, you know,
Yeah.
anymore.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot. I mean, summer I look forward to just because, you know, I'm
What
done
does
with the cold
Pirate
after a
say?
certain point.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's just
true.
like, oh, this is fucking awesome to put shorts on. But
Yeah, and I guess I should
Yeah.
clarify, like,
Ahoy.
when I say I enjoy the cold, the part of the cold I enjoy is like
I don't get it.
40s to 50s. That's
Keep
fine
on
with
making
me.
apocalypse jokes like there's no
But yeah,
tomorrow.
like that lake effect snow shit that we grew up with in
Oh my
Chicago
God.
and Northern Ohio. Fuck that.
yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
And I feel like even it's a weird thing getting older. Is, you know, I obviously have more fat on. I've
Yeah,
definitely
totally.
gotten fatter, but the
How'd y'all
cold
feel?
seems to hurt even more. Like
Right?
somehow it's
Like,
just
how is
cutting
this
through me.
possible?
Like,
Well,
God.
that thing that I was sharing with you before the episode, this this sciatic nerve pressure that I've been experiencing. What a fucking like old person. Like when I think of people complaining about like my sciatica, you know, I think
My
of
sciatica, yeah.
My
They have that voice. My
Right.
sciatica, exactly, yeah.
Check for what? I ain't seen
Or
fucking
some, you know,
It's 'cause
police
we're
chief
slow.
detective who is
check for
gonna have a
what?
heart
I'll
attack
show
before
you.
his retirement, saying I'm too old for this shit.
Okay, so this part is another one that could take a little while, but I'm gonna be super aggressive here because I'm well armed right now.
Oh, okay.
So let's.
I thought you said you were gonna take your time and be super stealthy, but
I could, but I'm not
maybe
gonna.
go for the
I mean,
middle ground
I
of
will be
like
kinda
trying to
stealthy.
be. Try to be like badass stealthy, and if you kind of fail, then it's like,
Right.
what? Well, I'll just
Yeah,
kill
then,
you
then
all
it's a gunfight, right? I'll be a predator.
Got some extra dry fruit if you want.
What is? It's like a crowbar, but it's a.
Ooh, this guy's gonna
It
get it.
looks like a fucking dragon or something.
Yeah, my. Oh, so I taped like a pair of scissors to the end of a crowbar.
Oh shit! Okay.
That guy got it. Ellie, fuck.
I mean, yeah, I don't
Who's
want an
next?
apocalypse to happen, but I would love to have a reason.
To
Maybe I
tape
got to
some
start
scissors to a
protesting
crowbar.
more. Oh yeah, maybe I just got to start going to crazy protests. Like,
Dude, if you
Protest-
find a crowbar just one day walking around, consider that your sign, man. Just take
What
your
was-
crowbar with you.
what was that movie? There was like an axe in the barn, and it was like, well, that's God telling us we got to kill bad people or something.
Right.
And it was like a dad and two sons or something.
I don't remember that one at all.
I can't remember. It was a thriller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But yeah, I'd love to have a reason just to take a wooden bat and nail some nails into it, and
Right. Cloud strife that shit.
I mean, I'll get my chance. I'm sure there's
I'll
so
get
much
my
shit
chance.
going on in this world.
He really thought he was gonna get me. Sound when the life just leaves him. Ooh, shotgun bullets. That's a license to use a shotgun, man. My shotgun is full. That ain't right.
At least sometimes you gotta kill a man to get a shotgun.
Ellie, when God gives you shotgun bullets, you make lemonade. What does that even mean? You'll see. You make tomato soup. Dude, I had a big old bowl of Campbell's tomato soup for lunch the other day for like the first time in 5 years.
That is a very like childhood meal right there.
Hell yeah, man. It's still
Get
good
some
though.
like buttered toast or grilled cheese sandwich or
Right?
something. Yeah,
Well,
it's
and you know
good.
the funny thing is like truthfully, like I don't like really fancy smanchy dressed up tomato soup. Like it doesn't
yeah?
do it for me. Like I
Hmm.
like the cheapo Campbell stuff because it's
Okay.
what I grew up with.
See, I don't know how much you can dress up tomato soup. I know, like, say Panera bread, you could get it in a bowl, blah blah blah, have croutons in it. I think it's pretty good. It's a little
it's
like
fine, but it's not like my jam, you know. But I don't crave it, you know.
okay.
Like
So the Campbell's
tomato
is a little thinner, right? Like,
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing close to a tomato in it.
That's true. It's the essence of tomato soup,
Yeah, right. Scent of tomato.
but still,
Liquid.
like, it kind of like drinking it really hot and just being like, okay, this I feel.
Oh yeah, it's comfort food for sure.
It's comfort, yeah,
Yeah,
and something that reminds me, like when I'm sick, getting like a hot bowl of soup.
yeah.
That was just the childhood thing.
Dude, so speaking of comfortable childhood things, but in kind of a really fucked up way, I'm guessing this week that you saw a couple of really awesome fucking trailers.
Dude, I was gonna bring that up. Like,
Which one do you want to talk about
we,
first?
We are eating good right now.
Hell yeah, man. I'm growing fat
Okay.
on 2023 games.
Okay, you know what? Let's talk about FF16 first.
Okay, 16 first.
Because
Excellent.
This was weird. In like, I'm following that game, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
When is this new trailer gonna come out? And then I saw it. I think it was like Sunday. It was like, oh yeah, kind of like the FF16 trailer. I'm like, wait, what? What trailer? And I see the trailer came out 3 days ago, and it was just like, wait, what the fuck? And that trailer is
Oh
by
my
far the
God.
best trailer they've had.
Yeah,
for this
it
game.
just
Like,
it just keeps getting better. Like
oh.
whereas with 15 I was like, man, what are they going to do next? What are they going to deliver
It was like a
on?
big
What are they gonna-
mystery.
Yeah, right. This
'Cause they- yeah.
like they're being real intentional with what they're showing. It's like, here's the fucking world, here's the combat, here's the story. get ready.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
like,
telling you the
"Alright."
story.
Yeah,
like
dude.
they're
and
they're
it's
not.
sounding awesome. Oh,
It seems like you kind of got those 12 vibes where it's just like, here are these kingdoms. Oh shit, fucking kill them, light them up.
ooh,
Oh damn.
ooh.
Uh-oh.
He's
What
got a
else we
friend.
got?
That wasn't my shotgun. That's why that didn't kill him right away.
Would you have the rifle?
There's the
Oh,
shotgun.
there we go. Jeez.
That
Oh,
would be the
wait.
shotgun.
Did his head come off? Wait, that doesn't make sense.
No, he was like that before.
Nice. It was detachable before.
It was already missing. All right, so now I'm gonna go down and collect those shotgun shells.
All right.
Joel. Okay, so yeah, going back to 16, I was trying at first to temper my expectations, but with this trailer, I'm like, fuck it, man, I'm all in for 16 right now. So my one of my main complaints with 15, you'll remember, was like how they showcased the world of the game so much, and then it ended up being like a big open empty space.
Oh
by
yeah.
and large. Like, don't get me wrong, it was big and it was beautiful, but there just wasn't enough gameplay in that world, to justify its size.
And that was the main thing about the trailers, like, oh, driving around, look at this, and
yeah,
it's
look how there's adventure
out.
around every corner. Oh no, except there wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that was a bummer. But this, like, the locales that they're showing off, like, there's multiple kingdoms, and they, like, even if you don't get to like explore each of them, like FF9 style, where they're all like their own like city state, and you get to go to them, and they all have like an individual map. Like, the fact that there's variety there, and you're going to definitely get to go to at least some of it, or they wouldn't be showing it off.
And it's like, already it's more than 3. Unlike 15, where it's just like, here's where you're gonna spend most of the time in this
and the one
desert,
was,
boring world.
The one was just window dressing. Like they spent many trailers showing off Noctis's home city. What was it even called?
Insomnia.
And Insomnia was nothing. You were in Insomnia for like one street in the palace at the very end of the fucking game. Like, really, Insomnia was nothing.
Even the Royal Edition, they expanded on it, and it was it wasn't.
Whoop.
Speaking of, like,
about to eat
a quick aside, one of actually my favorite parts of 15 is like when you first wake up 10 years later and the world just like totally fucked up.
Yeah, and you don't even get to explore it.
No, you get picked up way too quickly in the truck. That was kind of like, that was
like they had some potential here. Like, what if it was
Yeah.
FF6 style? Yeah, and you got to like, it's like now the gloves are off and now you get to explore and like basically create your own like
starting from
path
scratch
to the end game, right?
Where it's just like,
with
hey,
FF6,
things are tough. You
can
can't
go
kill
straight-
these things. You better run away.
Yep, you could go straight to
like,
Insomnia and try to fight Arden, but you're probably going to get wiped. But no, that's
that would be
all
awesome.
that you do. You straight up just go to Insomnia and fight Arden.
Yeah. That would be all if you had to find people and convince them or something. Like,
right? Oh my god, that would be so cool. And like,
that would have been
maybe
great.
maybe like a Mass Effect style thing where like it's different depending on like who you recruit or like what choices you make. Like you can pull what's his name, Core, back into action or something, or you can get Cindy to craft you like a battle airship, like if you do something, and storm it that way. But they didn't do anything even remotely like that, and they could have. They absolutely could have. They could have justified that giant world map that they had for no fucking reason.
I know it took a long time. Like, instead of 16, we're ragging on 15 again. But
yeah, again. So let's go back to the positives of 16. Dude, that guy's fast. Let's go back to the
what the
positives of 16 here. His friend sees me. Shit.
It definitely seems like it has a direction. One, it is showing you all these kingdoms and the variety, but the direction kind of seems like, okay, these warring states, they have their icons, like it reminds me of Naruto in a way, where it's like the Jurinjiki, whatever the fuck you call them. It's just like it's their powerful like ace of the hole, for these countries, but at the same time they're not given respect or anything. They're kind of feared. You know,
Right.
like they're monsters.
Okay.
And you can already see that from the trailer.
I'm definitely getting that vibe from the icons. Like if an icon shows up, like everyone's fucked.
Yeah, basically. And it seems like, it kind of seems like as the main character, you don't know, at least as far as I know, maybe I got to go back to the older trailers. I don't know what of those kingdoms, if any of them, that he is with. He seems
is
like he had
part
a
of one of
relationship
them.
with Joshua.
So Joshua
maybe
is
it's that first one.
So from what I read, Joshua is Clive's younger brother, and he's being brought up as the icon for Phoenix. But then it seems like they get invaded. He loses control, but he like basically imparts part of his power into Clive. And so Clive isn't an icon, but like he has like
the power
Phoenix,
a little bit.
Phoenix powers, basically.
Which,
like
dude,
God of War style.
That is the basis for a lot of good anime. Like, first of all, like I just got finished a couple hours ago watching an episode of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
And this is a bunch of animes where it's just like, okay, you have these crazy things like these devils or something, and like Devilman, you know,
Right.
like one of those kind of animes where it's like, okay, I'm gonna kind of become a devil myself, you know, and maybe not all the way, but I have
Right.
the humanity here, and
Oh,
icons.
fuck.
It doesn't seem like
I gotta-
seem like you lose your shit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh fuck.
That's shit. Oh my god. Get the fuck out of there, Joel. I gotta tell you though, I love the idea of a story.
It's not taking cover, Ellie.
Of a story centered around like basically the main character taking revenge. Where the
Yeah.
You really don't see me?
And it kind of seems like he's going place to place fighting the different icons.
Yes.
Like
so
it's
like
just gonna be
it
time
seems
to
like
fight this one, time to fight like
Right.
I'm all for that.
Right. So
I am
like
all for
basically
that.
instead of going from kingdom to kingdom collecting the crystals, like if I had to guess, I think Clive basically like Ifrit massacres his family, so he's got like a vendetta against the icons.
Yeah.
And like their what are the people who wield them called? Shoot. Or are they the icons?
I thought they were the icons, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so there's like a
Like-
word for the summons, and then there's a word for like the people who
Who
become
hold
them.
that power.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that icons were the summons themselves, but now that I think of it, I think you're right.
And I'm also wondering if it kind of like I think about
Are
Naruto.
they just called Eidolons again?
Maybe. I feel
Eidolons
like
and
maybe it's
icons?
Eidolons. You know what? I have to look this up.
Yeah,
You might be
look it
right.
up because
They had a name, and I think it's like a name they've used before, but maybe it's spelled slightly differently.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Esper. It's not
FF
Espers. It's not Espers in this one. I know that. I thought it was something different, like Valiants or Gargantuans or something like that flavor. But again, now I'm second guessing.
Summons. Okay.
It's gonna like it's on the tip of my tongue, and as soon as you say it, I'm gonna kick myself because it's right there.
Okay, you know what? I think some websites are messing it up too. I'm gonna have to go to like the main
Yeah.
FF16 website.
Yeah, like their website. Oh, dude, have you been on their website before?
Yeah, but not in a while.
It
But
gives
I
a
remember
lot
when
of information.
When that second trailer dropped, they also dropped the website, and
Uh-huh.
it was
Like they walk you
It was
through all the
impressive.
kingdoms and like what summon is associated with them and like what kind of superpower they are. Like it's really good.
Oh, creepy.
You guys got any treasure? Oh, that's a bad day.
The easy way out, huh?
It ain't easy.
Uh,
It was better than
Killing's
hunter
easy,
do it.
Ellie.
Hunter do it for him.
I didn't even see if they had gunshot wounds or something. It kind of looked like they took the easy way out by taking an acid bath.
Right? They're Breaking Batted their shit.
All right, I'm on the website. The
Okay.
world, the characters.
I just want to know the difference between icons and the other
Whatever the summons are called, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trail. Oh, the music in that trailer.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
And like I'm pretty sure like the one thing that I'm kind of sorta not super thrilled with is it does look like you're only going to be controlling Clive, but you know that was essentially FF15. You had party members, but they they were kind of window dressing for most of the game.
Yeah.
Like so much so that the final boss, like you straight up didn't even get them. Like it was really just Noctis.
Yeah.
And so that's fine.
I don't
They're just
even
not
know
pretending.
the only people that it seems like are close to Clive where they could be in a party is like 2 other dudes. And that's all
Right.
I've seen. It's like, so I don't know if it's going to be like another Chocobro situation or if it's really just going to be Clive, which if that's the case, it's kind of like,
I would rather
I don't know, like an
yeah.
old Enix game or something where it's
And
just
you
like
know,
Illusion of Gaia or
exactly. And
You're-
I would
you're one
honestly rather have it be just Clive and like Clive be fucking awesome than have like a party like an FF15 and they never really flesh it out, like what the other characters are there for. Now the
Yeah.
FF7 remake, one of its greatest combat strengths is that they do manage to make it an action-based system, but have a full party like be really necessary.
yeah, for sure. That's
Like that
and
is well done.
going through that game again, it's just like I really do like the battle system.
Mhm.
Although sometimes, like the Hell House being the worst offender,
God damn it.
the
I'm
the
lost.
fact that you have to like wait sometimes, or if
Mhm.
it's just like, okay, well we need Barrett for these enemies, and there's
Right.
nothing else you can do unless you want to like waste MP.
I do
It's
hope
like
in the sequel. Sorry, just my one
Oh, no,
thought on
go
that. I do hope in the sequel that the other characters in your party like actually build their ATB gauge instead of you having to like switch to them and before they'll do anything worth
or
doing.
like build it faster because
right.
they build it, but it's slow.
Oh yeah, like you
and,
have to
like,
take like if you want to use like a Barrett move, you have to take over as Barrett for a minute. And
Oh,
then,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's kind of like a little dumb.
hmm
But they stay alive sort of like better than you because it kind of seems like there's area of effect attacks, but then like when it comes to the singular attacks, 75% of the time they're going to focus on whoever you're controlling.
Exactly.
So-
Yep.
So yeah, there's room for improvement there.
Looks like
For
there's ladders.
oh, you're right, the dominance.
Dominance. Okay.
Dominance.
So wait,
the
are the
dominants I think are the
people?
summons.
Okay, the
And I
dominance
think
are the
the
summons.
icons. Let's see. Blah blah blah.
So like someone is the icon of Ifrit and the icon of Titan.
All right.
So Joshua was the
Someone
icon of
switching.
Phoenix.
Let's see where this goes.
It's very clear. Yeah, the icon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Tight fit, but
Or is it the other
It
way around?
seems- It seems like it's the other way around. The icon
The icon is the
refers to
summon.
summons in the
Yep.
game.
Okay.
Fairly new.
And
blah, blah,
so the
blah.
dominants are the people. So like Joshua would be the dominant of Phoenix.
The first spoken line refers to Shiva's dominant as the
Mhm.
leader of the tattooed group. Okay, so the dominant, yeah, is the person controlling or the human form or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I'm wondering how there, that seems like that's what's going on, but we don't know a lot of like. Whoa!
Oh shit. Oh, this part sucks. So basically, like when I say this part sucks, you can generally be assured that what I'm referring to is it's going to be a part where you're like trapped in a narrow space with a bunch of fucking monsters.
Ah, fuck.
And I think in this one you don't have any choice but to fight them. Because like you have
Oh,
to
I
start
feel
you
like-
have to start a generator.
I feel like I've seen this part, either you
Yeah.
playing it or something.
You have.
Is there
It
like
was-
a bloater?
No, when we were doing the test recordings a while back, this is where I was.
Oh, okay.
So you've seen like this area, but and there is actually a bloater, but you don't meet him for
Nope.
a hot minute.
Oh, so FF16,
Yeah,
and,
sorry,
and
go
yeah, we'll get to the other trailers in a
Oh, yeah.
second too, because there's been a lot.
But I'm really
Um,
excited about 16. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like the newest trailer, it definitely seemed like they're showing that there's obviously the big summons,
hmm
but it also seems like there's a midway form too, like that they can kind of, if
where
they're
it's just
really
like
in
super
control.
people. Yeah, right,
Yeah, exactly. Or they have some of the characteristics of the
Mhm.
summon, but
right.
they're like powered, and it's just like, okay, one, this is anime as fuck.
Yeah.
Two, like I like that,
Me too.
So it really seems like you're going to be having using your powers too, but you're going to be having some straight up brawls with these
Right.
people.
So
you
what I've
know?
noticed, there seems to be like 3 different like modes of combat, and they're what you just said. So like there's kind of like the regular like Final Fantasy action style where it's you in a room full of like, you know, just regular enemies, you know, soldiers, Marlboros, goblins, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's still there. But then there's the second part that you talked about where it's like duels with other humans that just happen to have really cool powers or like they're really strong. And that those tend to be like one-on-one, and they have like the health bars at the top.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, there's also the ones where it's just straight up like kaiju
Full-on
fights.
summon.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Like Final
Yeah.
Fantasy Kaiju, which I couldn't be more excited about because I love
So,
both of
I
those
don't know.
genres.
The game just looks a little different from what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know,
it looks
so
a
that-
lot different.
That has me excited. You know,
Me
I'm like,
too.
all right, I'm down for the ride. Oh,
Yeah. Like I was talking about it with Nick, and he seems to be under the impression that it's like Final Fantasy meets Game of Thrones. I'm honestly not seeing that. Like, yeah, there's definitely some like feuding nations and like political intrigue, but that alone does not make a Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones
No,
wasn't
that's-
even the first ones to do that.
It for me, it's Final Fantasy meets a couple things, like a little bit of Naruto,
A little bit of
thrown
God
in
of
there for
War.
that. We got. You're right. A little bit of God of War, and a little bit. I don't know. Like, it definitely. I only say FF12 because of like the different. What do you call it? Like many different countries.
Yes,
Even
yeah.
though it's kind of like two big nations.
Mhm. And we all
so
know
it's
how
like
I
it-
feel
it
about
kinda-
FF12. So
Oh yeah. So it
couldn't
kind of has
be
that in
happier
there,
about that.
but I feel like what we haven't gotten from these trailers yet, we have some gameplay, some fights and stuff. We have a lot of story and exposition. What we don't have is a lot of like, okay, here's this town and here's you exploring it kind of thing. Like we don't have
Right.
that yet.
Yep.
So I'm because FF12 had that in
hoping
space.
we get that.
Like,
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they're not just gonna sit on all of these like
Ooh.
beautiful environments they created and only have them be like 5-minute long action set pieces. Like I
Yeah.
hope we get to do some exploring this time around.
Did they? And I'm sure they have, like already a long time ago. But did they say what? Oh, what graphics engine they're using? Are they using Unreal?
I think
Or-
they're using Unreal, but I'm not sure now that you mention
Okay,
it.
because I remember that was like a big thing with the development cycle taking a while for FF7 remake. Was they went from using their own engine to using Unreal,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm assuming they're staying with Unreal. And if that's the case, are they using Unreal 5? Is it their own engine? Like, fuck,
I
now
don't
gotta figure
know.
this out.
I think
but-
it's the same graphics engine as 7 Remake. So
Okay.
I don't
the
think they're
game
using
definitely
Unreal
looks
5.
good.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, but I don't think it's Unreal. Like I'm not sure Unreal 5 is like fully in developers' hands yet.
It is, but only like for a little. Like it
Okay.
only has been for a little while.
So like FF16 has definitely been in development longer than that, though.
Yeah, exactly. So it's apparently you can like upgrade, and a lot of assets go over pretty easily. But
Okay, so
for
from
a
like
AAA game,
from like 4
like
to
that?
5, basically.
yeah.
Okay.
But for a AAA game, I still feel like that's not going to be like one day of, oh, we're just upgrading everything and it's being up-res. Like, no, that's not how it works. So I don't see them changing engines, even if it's from Unreal 4
No,
to 5.
and honestly, like I'd be a little upset if they did.
Yeah, I get you. Oh, but yeah, so that trailer was better than I expected. It was like, I was going to enjoy it anyway, because it's like, hey, it's more 16. I'm excited for this
Mhm.
game. But the music kind of took me off guard. Like, I was like, okay, fuck, this is some
Oh,
good ass
no.
music right here.
Come here.
What?
Come here. Let's go. Fucking go. Fucking go.
Now, wait a second. Are those the same kind of like runners? Just whoa,
No, these are
or
stalkers.
just a click? Oh, stalkers.
I hate them.
Have we seen one of those before?
Yes. Not much, though. Sorry. All of a sudden
No,
focusing.
that's okay. Yeah.
Like I said, I hate these fucking parts. Anyone else? Who we got? Who there? Words. 16 graphics, gameplay. Yeah, I think I said what I want to say.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we cover it all?
genuinely excited. I am truly excited
Yeah.
about this.
And I'm
game.
glad that the development cycles aren't fucking 10 years,
Oh
where
my
it was-
god, yeah. Well, and,
when did we first see this game? 2019 or 2020?
yeah,
2020. It was 2020.
that's
So-
awesome.
so
That is
3 years?
That is great.
Yeah.
And granted,
didn't-
they've probably been working on it longer than that. They just
Oh,
had
yeah.
the good sense not to like
Announce
hey,
it.
we've got like a story concept. Let's reveal it to everybody. Like they
yeah,
did with
let's
15.
make a teaser trailer or something. Yeah.
Like this is what it could look like on the PS5. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. So if they hit summer 2023, that's less than 3 years from announcement to
Yep.
having the game in our hands, which isn't too bad.
Right,
You know?
which is amazing when you consider again just the development hell that was FF15.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Like what was I going to say about that? Well, and that was the other thing too. Like it doesn't feel like it's been super long since we got 15, but it is. Like it's been that was 2015, right? 7
That
years.
was 2016.
Okay, 2016. Okay, still 6 years. I mean that's a
6
long time
years,
between
yikes.
games. But
Yeah, and then
It-
7 years.
but
once-
yeah, but it went a long time without being announced. And to Square Enix's credit, they did at least partially keep their promise to, make FF15 more of a experience than just like a single entry. Like they really did. Like it wasn't all good, but they had some DLC, they had some like side games, they had a movie and like extra like novels and stuff like that. So 15
Yeah.
like continued to. It's not like we got 15 in
We didn't get
2016
shafted.
and then we never heard from it. We never heard from Final Fantasy for 6 years.
yeah.
All right, here's the
Yeah,
part
that's
that really
true.
sucks.
Here we go.
Come on, who wants it? I'm ready. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna get attacked. Let's fucking go.
Damn it.
Where is it? There's a big boy. I think I can get.
Oh my god.
Damn it!
Joel, what are you doing? Get out of that animation.
Okay, there we go. I didn't have to deal with the bloater. That was the important thing.
Nice.
That could have gone much, much worse than it did.
Gotta find Ellie.
Not that it was great. It could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Words.
We're
Yeah.
So there was FF16. I feel like I'm trying to remember the rest of the trailers we got.
Okay,
Were they
so
all
there's
horror
there's
games?
there's two. There's two besides 16 that I really want to talk about, and that's Silent Hill 2 and then just more on Resident Evil 4 cuz
Oh yeah.
so Silent Hill 2 there's not much to say. We didn't get any gameplay of that, but I'm just excited that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like I could
And
not
what do you think of
it's going to
is
be
it Blue,
terrifying.
Bloober?
Bloober.
The people who did the Medium.
Oh yeah, so I don't know any of their other projects. Like I you and Nick were talking about that, and I completely don't know who they are. So I have no expectations.
They're competent, but they seem like a solidly. They make horror games. That's all they do,
Okay,
and they
and
seem
they're like
a
all middle of the
solidly-
road.
They're all like 7.5 out of 10 kind
Okay,
of games.
yep. So with Silent Hill 2, my take on that is, as long as they keep it true to the original, make really pretty graphics, which they seem to be doing, and I mean.
Go to work.
I don't know, maybe bring in some like modern control sensibilities. That's really
Yeah,
all they
yeah.
need to do. Like they don't need to reinvent the wheel for this one or come up with
No.
anything unique. Like they just need to deliver Silent Hill 2 as though it were a 2023 game.
Yeah, and I feel like this team can do it because, like you said, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not like Silent Hill 2. We loved it for its gameplay necessarily.
Yeah, no, it was
You
all
know?
about the atmosphere.
It was the moments, it was the atmosphere, it was the story as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like with that, like I think about the games that they've done, and like the last one I didn't beat it, but I played the medium when it was on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
And as far as the monsters and stuff, that's 10 out of 10 for me. They make some scary shit. They
Oh,
can
really?
make some monsters look really freaky.
Ooh, nice.
So
that's Silent
Yeah.
Hill 2's bread and butter.
for sure, I think honestly they're in good hands. You
Yeah.
know, so
I think I mean, again, we haven't seen it in play, but I mean, I'm going to regret saying this. How wrong could it go? I mean, it's literally a game that already exists. Like if they're having trouble in development, it's not like they have to build the game from the ground up. Like they know what people are expecting.
yeah.
So it's just a
No,
question
I
of
say
like,
that,
can they
but
technically deliver that, right?
2 years from now, you're gonna clip this and be like, "Oh, how wrong I was."
All right. Oh my God, what a terrible remake! It's like the exact opposite of Resident Evil 2 in every way.
Jesus, I hope not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too. But so that brings us to the last one, which is RE4. Because again, Silent Hill 2, like I just don't have anything more to say because there's not anything to
there's
say.
not a
yet.
whole lot.
Yeah.
There.
But with Resident Evil 4, I am genuinely surprised what they're doing with it. I'm really happy. Like Resident Evil 4, I'm the exact opposite of most people. Like I think it was a very middling entry in the series that took it down a direction I would have rather avoided altogether. I would have
yeah.
gladly gone from Code Veronica to 7 without any games in between, knowing what Resident Evil 4 would do to the series.
Exactly, and it's like what it would do. Hindsight's 2020. Like
Mhm.
when it first came out, it was like, "Hey, this is such a departure."
Yeah,
It
I mean,
still has the scares. It's
not-
not like zombies.
right.
But-
So my thought on that game was it completely didn't have the scares, and that's why I'm as hard on it as I am. But
Yeah.
like it did have like moments of tension. So like when you were surrounded by monsters and you know like they were coming at you and you were like, "Oh, how am I going to make it past this encounter?" Those were thrilling gameplay moments and they could be really intense, but that is
Mhm.
completely not what I'm looking for in an RE game.
And you're right that it's like it was more intense than scary.
Yes.
Because it's like,
absolutely.
yeah, there's some
like there was
creepy
yeah.
and stuff, but at the same time, Leon could shoot him in the kneecap, then go in and do like some
and
crazy
jujitsu
roundhouse.
kick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. There was never a point in the game where like I was dreading rounding the next corner. There were plenty of times in that game where I was like dreading fighting a certain enemy type because they're such a pain in the ass, which again is fine, but not my one. It's not my kind of game in general, and two, it's definitely like I said, not what I think of when I think of Resident Evil. And so
that part, I'll agree with you wholeheartedly. You know, I feel like it did bring some scares when it came to like just how the enemies were and stuff like that. But I also agree that it's not scary in the way Resident Evil usually was.
No.
And not scary in the way that I want it to continue to be, because these remakes have shown me that, hey, you can still have that old Resident Evil sensibility.
Yes.
Of, I'm not the aggressor. I'm
Right.
scrounging. And like Resident Evil 2 kind of did it better than the original Resident Evil 2, you know, in a way where, because Mr. X
I agree,
chasing you like all the time. It was like,
man.
holy shit, I need to stay here. And when I hear, like, I just need to make a run for it over here. And you're like, so much of the time, you're.
Well, and the zombies were
like,
actually scary in that
that's
game.
true too.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah. I agree.
like,
so
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so like this new game, we got a lot of gameplay, which is great. And it seems like they're kind of going like they're making a compromise where they're keeping a lot of the DNA of the original Resident Evil 4. Like you still have these crazy roundhouse kicks and stuff like that. Man, so this guy took care of a thing for you.
he just went on a whole adventure.
And you just ended it right there.
Just ended it, yeah.
Sometimes you gotta use people, Ellie. That's
right.
it's the cruel part of this world.
It's a fucked up world. Where
Why are you always smiling when you tell me these things?
right? So yeah, go on. I completely understand what you're saying so far. I want to hear your thoughts and
So yeah,
reactions.
it's like a halfway point where it's just like,
Yes.
okay, for us, let's say, like where
He
Resident
could've
Evil 4 when it first came
fucking
out, I
taken me
liked
out.
it, and in hindsight, it's like, oh, I wish that they didn't go that route and try to continue to go that route.
Or like
you know?
one up it, you know, like every game after Resident Evil 4, like it literally became a series about like doing more and more like over the top monsters and wild encounters and
Yeah, and like now we're part of this group that's gonna hunt these crazy bioweapons down,
These-
where
freaks. We're gonna go kill those freaks. That's what it was like after a while.
yeah,
and it was a bummer.
definitely, yeah. And I hell, dude, I've never even played Resident Evil 6, but
No,
I've
me
seen
neither.
enough of it that I know exactly what that game is about.
Yep.
And it is not good. But what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, they all that stuff that we don't necessarily want, and that Resident Evil 2 was pretty much devoid of.
Mhm.
It seems like that they're compromising. They're not taking it out of the game entirely.
Right, yeah.
But
And like
it
I
seems
don't
like they're-
mind that there's more action elements necessarily. I don't like when they take a backseat to the horror.
yeah. And it seems like I have to see more of the Las Plagas, individuals. But from what I've seen, it's like, okay, this is fairly scary. It's not
Mhm.
like the zombies scary, but still pretty frightening.
I don't know.
think-
So that was going to be that's what really surprised me was in the trailer that they just not trailer, the gameplay that they just showed. Like it seems like they completely have changed the first encounter with a Las Plagas, and I was really like disturbed. Like the way his head is like just kind of like hanging off to the side. It's like really clear that
that's right.
it's like really clear that this is not human anymore, like or even
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
And you're right. In the first few encounters, like you didn't even see the stuff coming out.
No,
of
you just
them.
thought that these were
It-
like crazy
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So to make them not zombies, but at the same time very like monster like,
Oh yeah.
I
mean,
think that is going
that-
in a good direction.
That first dude in Resident Evil 4 was like completely not intimidating. He was
No.
basically just like your target practice to get the aiming mechanic down.
Get the new mechanic down. Exactly. Yeah.
And I really
Um,
like the over the shoulders. Going back to what you were saying, I like the over the shoulder style, but like what made Resident Evil 2 remake so good is that they employed it in a way that it felt confining and claustrophobic.
That's true.
You were in this police station and it's like you're just hovering over Leon's shoulder, and even though it's not in first person like 7 and 8, you couldn't see everything around you. It was
That's true.
Yeah. So there
And
yeah.
it was either hallways or like even if it was a big room, it was like tables and stuff and clutter.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh fuck, I need to like run around this thing.
Right.
Like the whole game was like that.
Yeah. And I know that
So it
wasn't
was
like
good.
that probably wasn't technically possible on the GameCube. That level of detail.
Mhm.
But like the environments in that game did not do it for me at all. Like it was basically just
No, I
like,
agree with that.
I can't think of one really memorable like locale in that game where I just had to pause and be like, oh shit, that is crazy looking. It was, brown and gray village, brown and gray cemetery, brown and gray castle, brown and gray
Castle.
military base. And
That's true. And the
Yeah.
village especially was kind I don't look back on that too fondly. It's like, okay, first of all, it's fucking daylight. Like
Right.
for the first half of the village part, I guess. And
Mhm.
it's like, how scary is that? And I
until
like that
Resident Evil
this-
8 did it way better.
and they whoa.
Heyo. God, that would suck so bad.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like, it looks like nothing in a video
Just
game,
the-
but can you imagine someone punting you in the face? Like, and then dropping like 12 feet?
Yeah, like
Like, have you ever like actually fallen from a high distance and like landed on your back? It is
I
horrible.
don't think so.
Like the
I'm
wind gets
sure it's
knocked
like-
out of you. You feel like a crack, and you're wondering if you've just broken your spine, and like it's awful.
Oh, she took her first life.
Yep, that's Ellie's first blood.
That guy, huh?
It's a fucked up world, Ellie. You did what you had to do.
I feel feel sick.
For the first time, I'm proud of you.
You done good, kid.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a goddamn kid.
Joel.
You know what?
Wow.
No. How about, hey, Ellie, I know it wasn't easy, but it was either him or me. Thanks for saving my ass.
Yeah,
You got
actually.
anything like that for me, Joel?
God, this game looks good.
We gotta get going.
Joel,
Away.
you hard ass.
Right? Like I was totally on your page when I saw this get revealed. I'm like, there's parts of this where like, does it really look all that much better than the PS3, PS4 game? But then there's like scenes like that where yeah, it really fucking does.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. And you could see the emotion in their faces, like which you could in the PS3 version, of course.
Yeah, but there was still there was more of the uncanny valley, like
yeah. You don't realize it until you go back to it. It's like, oh, this game looks great, but then you look at this one, it's like, oh fuck.
Like I remember FF
this is so much better.
Like for instance, I remember FF13, and like, I mean, it's still a good looking game, but like on the PS3, it was almost like a surreal experience, like graphically speaking, like how good that looked, like how detailed the character models were, and like the lighting and the environments and everything. And granted, it was a lot of window dressing. I'm not going to go there, but it was a graphically beautiful game, and like I remember it being nothing short of like almost photorealistic in some parts. But now you go back and it's like, yeah, this was definitely good, and it still looks nice. But
yeah,
it having seen like FF15 and FF7 remake and everything, it's like, yeah, okay, it was definitely a PS3 game.
Yeah, for sure. It was a beautiful game. It definitely holds up, and at the same time, you're gonna say, okay, is this new stuff looks so much better.
And that's how I feel about this. Where like at first because I was again remembering the original The Last of Us and thinking, yeah, this was like a photorealistic game. How could they possibly make it more detailed? It's like, oh, easily. As it turns out, really fucking easily for a PS5 game.
But we were talking about the first encounter in Resident Evil 4, and it's also they changed, instead of just being topside in the village, that you're actually going down into these like catacombs and stuff, and which I'm pretty sure did not happen in the original game.
No, which again is way okay with me, because like we just said, I want them to really delve, like if they're going to do this in a way that pleases like classic Resident Evil fans, they've got to like make the environments more pronounced and scary and like visually distinctive, and like a catacomb below the village is a great way to start that.
Yeah, so it seems like they're really taking all the right steps, and it's kind of exciting because Resident Evil 2, the old game, it didn't need to be fixed in any way. It's a perfect game, for what it was. It's a perfect game. Definitely. And so they respected it so much and made it with modern sensibilities that it's like, oh, well, the remake's a perfect game. Right. Resident Evil 4, I enjoyed it when it came out. It's not a perfect game. And so we get to see them do something different, where it's like, instead of like respecting the original completely, it's like they're remixing it a bit.
Yes, they could make it more than what it was.
Yeah.
Whereas with Resident Evil 2, it's like, again, just taking something that was like lightning in a bottle and translating it into modern design language. And like, I'm not sure if
we're going to get you that feeling again.
Right. Like, I'm not sure if there will ever be a remake done as competently as Resident Evil 2. Like even if Resident Evil 4 is like pitch perfect and like knocks it out of the park, Resident Evil 2 remake will have still done it first.
I get that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even making it modern and it looks better and it's over the shoulder now and all this other stuff. Because they respected the original so much, but they changed a lot. They made a lot of changes.
They did.
That have nothing to do with gameplay and stuff, and it only served Resident Evil 2.
Exactly. It's very much in essence the same game. I couldn't tell you from a technical perspective how in the hell they did that. But it's very clear that this is Resident Evil 2. It's just Resident Evil 2 as though it were a, 2019 game.
The only thing I can say is they definitely had some fans of RE2
Oh,
in
without
in the
question.
development.
And I
I
think
mean,
they
you think
brought
about
back the original director, yes? Or am I
I
wrong? Or he was at least consulted.
I'll have to check that out. I'm sure you're right because I'm
It was
thinking
it was
that was
either the
before
same.
Shinji Mikami's time. Like he was RE4,
Yeah.
but I don't know who was RE2. Um,
Good question.
yeah, a lot of stuff I got to Google tonight.
Yeah, same. But are you sure Shinji Mikami wasn't RE2?
I'm not positive. It could have been
Okay.
him. I thought that was before he was really getting into the fold as director.
He at least had something to do
Because
with it.
he
I'm
did.
Sure.
He also did Devil May Cry, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
but that was the thing though. Like the reason that Devil May Cry was as successfully marketed as it was is because it was marketed as from the director of Resident Evil. So I'm thinking
that's true.
he had to have done 2 and 3 at least, if not 1.
Okay.
Because it's
But,
like this is his new project and it's going to be even more awesome than Resident Evil. Like no, they're just two different things. Let them be.
I think about when you and I talk like, oh, what if they remade Clock Tower or something? But then they did this.
Mhm.
Like the stuff that we know, the changes that are changes, but at the same time serve that feeling that the original game was going for.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just recreate it with better graphics. I mean, sort of Resident Evil 1 remake sort of did that, but it was definitely a remake and not just like window dressing. You know?
Right, for
So
sure.
they
like up
they
until
changed
2,
some things.
it's interesting because up until 2, I would have said that Resident Evil 1 was the best remake that there ever was. So my top 2 remakes are both Resident Evil games. So hey, 4 could do it again.
Yeah, Capcom seems like they
It's just that. Whatever, Joel.
And 3
All right,
3
just
would
listen to
have
some of the dialogue here.
3 would have been awesome too if it weren't so rushed. Like 3's problem isn't that what was there was bad in any way. There just wasn't enough of it.
There wasn't enough, and the thing is, the original Resident Evil 3 exists, and we look back and it's like, oh yeah, this game was long.
Yeah,
it wasn't Code Veronica long, but
right.
Oh,
well, like
it's like,
whereas Resident Evil 2 feels like, you know, more of what made the original great. 3 feels like less. You know,
yeah,
like
it does.
It's like it's definitely the same story. It definitely has a lot of the same beats, but there's like entire sections that they've completely left out of the remake. Whereas Resident Evil 2, and granted, it only had to do the police station, the sewers, and the
Let's go.
fuck the lab. But the way that they interconnected them and like let you backtrack and it was an open place to explore. Resident Evil 3 completely didn't do that. Like you were done with the city, then you went to the sewers, then you didn't go to the clock tower. You went right to the hospital and then you went to the lab and you were done. And they were all short and they were all linear. And so it was almost like falling back into RE4 a little bit.
Yeah, and I know it was actually different teams. Now there was some overlap. There were some people who worked on both games.
Oh yeah, like clearly the same engine and mechanics,
but they were co-developed, which surprises me even more because it's like Resident Evil 3 still feels rushed.
Yeah.
But they had and it's not like they had a whole other year because again, they were making it, but Resident Evil 2 was being developed quicker when it was being developed, and then they're like, okay, let's go finish 3 now that 2's out. But it still had at least equal development time, if not a little bit more development time hours.
They just weren't as ambitious, I guess.
It wasn't ambitious, and I know it was some different people, you know, that were working on it. So I don't know. It's not a bad game.
No, it's definitely. I would not call it a bad game. I would call it an incomplete experience
for sure.
Because like when you think about it, like Resident Evil 2 came out, and like I said, just completely. Not like it almost changed the language of what a remake could be considered, you know, because like you said, they did do so much structurally different from the original, but it still worked. But 3 then it was so not rounded that it almost could have it would have almost served better if it was an add-on or DLC for 2.
Honestly, yeah.
instead
like
of its
the
own $60
biggest side
game.
story.
Right. Because, part of me thinks like, well, that's not very fair to Capcom because they're doing like 2 whole development cycles. But at the same time, go back to The Witcher 3, just like 3 years earlier, and they literally released 2 extra 30-hour campaigns.
Yeah, that's true.
As their DLC, with side quests, mind you.
And like, what was I going to say? Resident Evil 3, like, forget comparing it to the old Resident Evil 3. It wasn't as long. It wasn't as long as the second remake.
Right.
Like, how long did it take to beat 3? Like,
right.
3 or 4 hours? Like, not even?
Oh, not even.
And the first time, I haven't beaten Resident Evil 2 yet. I'm still working through it.
Wait, you haven't?
But no.
Oh, wow.
I'm like 6 hours in. What do you call it? So I'm still in the sewers, man.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, but yeah, your first playthrough of that game, like you want to explore every nook and cranny. It can be so intense that these guys are about to get got. That
when I oh my god. Oh.
That was a bad day.
He didn't think he was going to be missed today.
Yeah, you can't just do something as objectively perfect as Resident Evil 2 and then hand me something as, I don't even want to call it middle of the road because that doesn't do it justice, but
it's incomplete.
Yeah, it's as incomplete as Resident Evil 3.
For what it was. It was like, this is great. I'm enjoying this. Not as much as 2, but still enjoying it.
Fuck you.
But then it was then it's just over. You know,
right? Yep.
And it's like, wait a second, where's
it's like that was it? Like no second campaign, no Carlos mode,
where's
or
the
anything?
clock tower? Where's doing Raccoon City with Carlos? Like, where's any of that stuff?
Oh man, Carlos got so shortchanged in that game. Like Carlos was an integral part of the original experience. Where and in this one, he's just like a non-entity almost.
That's yeah.
Yes, he does definitely save Jill's life, but
it almost seems kind of weird that it's just like you don't get connected to Carlos.
No, not at all.
He doesn't. It doesn't seem like, I don't know.
Like whereas in Resident Evil 3, like Carlos was essentially that game's Leon. In this one, he's definitely just like a side character who you just
he is a side character
who you get to play as for a little bit. I will say I liked his personality in the remake a little better, but there just wasn't enough of him.
As far as Resident Evil 2, I spent so much time in once Mr. X started showing up, and I knew it was going to happen, and so like the first time he showed up, I'm like, wait, fuck, no, let me do everything else before I trigger this. And the game's like, no, like there's not much you can do. You're gonna have to come here and have him start chasing you. And ever since that happened,
they're good at bottlenecking you.
Yeah, and when they need to, when it serves the story, I guess. And I spent so much time like going to safe rooms and listening to him, like just okay, fucking go away, please. Like,
yeah. Oh, like his horrible footsteps. Like I don't think there's a scarier sound effect in modern gaming than Mr. X's boot stomps. Holy
no, I get it.
Shit.
And sometimes it would be like I thought he would go away, and then I would like get to a new room and there'd be zombies. It's like, oh shit, let me run over here, and then I would get fucking haymakered by Mr. X all of a sudden from the side. I'd be like, what? Where did you come from? Like,
well, and I knew that it had to happen at some point because it happened in the original game. But when he bursts through a wall in Resident Evil 2 remake, I actually like physically go into a fight or flight, state of mind.
Yeah, that was so. Resident Evil 2 is definitely because I only played it this year, and I'm not done with it, but I'm sure I'm gonna complete it within the next 6-7 weeks, because I just get sidetracked. It's like, okay, now I have Hades, now I'm gonna start playing Vampire Survivor, and I and Final Fantasy VII, blah blah blah. But it is by far the scariest experience I've had this year, and probably the scariest game I've played in like 5 years.
This guy's hanging on. Yeah, definitely. I obviously have no negative things to say about 2, and a couple things that I wish they'd done differently with 3. But so far, I'm optimistic about 4.
Yeah, me too. Do you fuck around with like
because you've I might die.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, yep. Damn.
Yeah.
I was debating healing there, and I hesitated for a second. Well, next time I'll play.
Say you have Village. You've played Village, beat Village.
Yeah.
Do you fuck around with like the Mercenaries mode or anything like that?
No, not even a little bit. Because again, Resident Evil, I don't like it as an action series.
That's not
and granted, Resident Evil 8 is about like my threshold for tolerance of action. Like it really totes the line. Like
it toes the line.
Like it's not as bad as RE4 in my mind, or much less 5 and 6. But at the same time, like by the end of the game, you're not afraid of the monsters anymore.
It's for me, it's like the Metroid Prime corruption of the newer Resident Evil games.
You're definitely mowing enemies down by the end of that game.
Oh, okay.
Especially
for me,
once
it's
kind
of like the atmosphere, which there's some crazy like scary parts of Village, like the dollhouse. It's not a dollhouse, but you know what I mean. Stuff like that. That's like, okay, this is new for Resident Evil. This just feels fucking creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's a lot of like, it's not the dialogue. It's that there's the biggest threats in that game are like the biggest threats in Resident Evil 2 are the fucking zombies and Mr. X, these things that don't talk to you or anything. And in Resident Evil 8, it's a lot of like, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah, everything is sentient, and it doesn't help. There's like a Mega Man style like group of bosses, you know, like that's like you're introduced to them at the very beginning, and they all have like comic personalities, and like
exactly. Like
I'm the one who's gonna, cut you to death, and I'm the one with the mechanical face.
Yeah, I'm the one that's gonna stomp on you and be kind of sexy.
And I'm the creepy doll. Like that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
100%.
Exactly. So
completely tonally different from Resident Evil 7, where I mean, yes, there was the Baker family, but I mean, they weren't as, for one, visually distinct. Like it was almost like they were a family of corpses, and it was really like, what the fuck is going on with this family? And yes, they did end up being bosses. Like 2 of them ended up being bosses, and then the other one was like more of like a House of Horrors kind of scenario.
But it was still like how the zombies are tragic because they're zombies, but they used to be people.
Mm-hmm.
The Baker family was tragic. It's like they're not happy,
right?
Like
whereas in Resident Evil 8, they all chose. I mean, like they didn't all
exactly
like it necessarily, but they all chose to like be part of this religion.
Like they're going on with their lives, and it's like
mm-hmm.
not like they're thriving. What's the word? It's not like thriving, but they're living their lives as fucked up as it is. And the Baker family, they're like dying. I feel it's a tragedy what happened to them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's different, even though they're talking and they're sort of sentient. Like they're not like what do you call that group? The Mega Man bosses, you could say. That's a good way to put it in 8, that it is like the Mega Man bosses.
Another body over here.
Another body over here. Oh man.
And I'm wondering if we'll look at 8 like in 10 years the same way we look at 4, where it's just like, they did really good with 7 with Ethan Winters, and then 8 happened. I don't know. I think 8 is definitely better than 4.
Yeah, 8 doesn't go quite as far in that direction. Like it's definitely, like I said, it's kind of my threshold for like the line between scary and action. But
yeah,
I think what redeems 8 for me is like how good the environments and the atmosphere is. So like even in parts where like you're running and gunning a little bit, it's still like the environments are super creepy or like visually striking, and like there's enough variety in the enemies where like the giant werewolves at the end of the game that show up only for like the last part, they're genuinely terrifying. Like they're like, yes, they're basically like mini bosses, but at the same time they're so like wild and brutish that like they're definitely not human,
and like you said, it's a good variety of the enemy types. And in Resident Evil 4, it's like you have this type of person, and then you have this type of person,
Yeah.
And there was never a part of the game that was like terrifying.
No.
It got
and
almost close at the end with the weird, the healing.
Oh, the healing!
Things,
that was a strange, like, sudden, like, return to form for a little bit there, but
yeah.
But the dudes with rocket launchers, oh fuck that.
Yeah. Or in Resident Evil 8, it's like, it's just there is still terrifying moments, like, I mean, the castle one, you still got the brainless weird. How do you know you're seen?
I was hearing the rumbling sound effect.
Oh,
wow, there's a lot of dudes. I can't get out of this one building. I'm just getting them all here and choking them out.
I was about to say, like, is that necessarily a bad strategy?
It's not very exciting.
Well, I guess you're working with what they're giving you.
Believe me, I'd love to exit this one corridor, but
they give you lemons. You got to choke the lemons to death.
Right?
Got nothing over this way.
Oh, you will.
You'll be nothing in just a second.
Oh,
God can't help you now.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
Keep looking.
Ooh!
Oh, no.
It's all right. Now he's got to come to me. Who's got your back? Who's got your fucking back? Oh, he's got your back.
Shit. He's... Had to step that up a little bit. It's like, oh, fuck. Coming around.
Rifle, you say?
How long does it take to heal?
It takes a second. It takes a hot second.
Actually, where's your health?
On the bottom right. What? Fuck you. There we go.
All right, show me when you're out of this encounter, because I'm like, I see the ammo.
Well, so my plan was to stop before this encounter, but we were still talking.
Oh yeah, I know.
And now I'm like 90% of the way through it, so might as well finish it out.
I'll run a little long. That's okay. Oh, really, dude?
Remember when he had a kidney?
Also, like, how could he still shoot? You got him in the arm that first time. And pretend like nothing happened. I say that, and of course Joel gets shot like 5 different times, and he wraps his arm. Oh my god!
Well,
yeah, he got the drop on you.
Yeah, he did. That's the last thing he's gonna get. Oh, you poor man!
I think this is fucking Gears of War, my dude. Well, I guess this part is.
There we go. All right.
Nice.
Next time on Play the Hits, we scavenge for items in this big open area, which we saw none of.
All right, sweet.
There's like cafes and like hollowed out cars and like multiple levels and everything. We just hung out in one storefront.
I know the bank.
We just hung out in the bank. Yeah. All right, we'll watch this, I guess. But all right, any last thoughts on, I guess, the state of gameage?
The state of gameage, it's weird. Like, we're getting a lot of Halloween kind of games. A lot of good trailers. Dead Space in January, and we have. But I think I'm more excited for the Callisto Protocol in December, though.
The what?
Which seems like Callisto Protocol. That seems like modern Dead Space.
Oh yeah, okay, I saw that. It took me a minute.
So between that, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, but that's going to be I don't know, 2024 or something.
Right.
Feeling pretty good. There's a lot. And then fucking God of War, dude. Like you're getting that, I'm sure, you know.
Yes, but probably not right away, because
Now the safety zone.
Souls kind of games, even if it's God of War, just never super engage me.
I gotcha.
Like, I enjoyed God of War, I really did, but like it took, like, I had to be really deliberate. Like, it didn't hook me. It was kind of like a slow burn. It's like, well, yeah, I'm having fun, but oh hey, something just came out. Something just came out that I'm really into, so I'll step away and then I'll come back. And
Gotcha.
I did that, like, which wasn't fair to that game because it really was good. Like, it's just,
I mean, it's like objectively, yeah, it's a lot of work went into it, cinematic, blah blah blah.
Right.
Just as a game though, like, oh, I thought you'd be more into it. I kind of
you
feel
would
like
think so. You would think so, especially since I played all 3 of the originals. But
I also, because I know you like Horizon. Seems like you like Horizon more than God of War, which I'm like, huh?
Oh yeah,
surprising.
by far, I love Horizon.
Yeah,
like, I cannot wait for the
Horizon's
next
definitely that is definitely like open world done right, basically. Like it definitely,
yes,
it's got that.
I have very little negative to say. Okay, but we'll talk about this next time I play the Hitman.
Yeah, right.
Or we'll be here all night.
Have a good night, dude.
See you, buddy.